Welcome to Profit CRM Learning Series. CRM is a journey. This video series will take you through the ins and outs of the Profit CRM.
Ladies and gentlemen, hey, welcome to the program. My name is Warren Stokes. I'm the Director of Sales at Avidian Technologies, and I'm here to share with you a very important topic, provide some training and coaching on how to set up and use Profit's sales automation and workflow features. The main idea of Profit is that, and Profit's automation is that it will help you automatically follow up on leads, people you know, like contacts in your database, as well as opportunities or projects that you might be tracking. You can basically set up drip campaigns for your contacts or your accounts. Basically, it's set it and forget it. I'm gonna go fairly briskly through the content here just to give you an overview, and then we'll show you how it all works in a live demonstration of Profit. So let's get started. The automation is kind of organized into two different areas. So Profit provides two types of sales automation. One is called Sales Assistant, and Sales Assistant launches a series of emails, reminders, which are Outlook tasks and or appointments for contacts and companies or companies in your database. There is a function called Workflow Automation, which launches a series of emails, tasks, or appointments for opportunities. So that's a key distinction there, and I'll be showing you how that all works. But both of them create a series of automated actions that consist of any combination of tasks which generate reminders that pop up in Outlook, appointments on your calendar, or emails that get automatically generated. And I'll actually show you how that all works as we get into it. One of the background concepts, though, is in order to really think through your sales automation, it's useful to do some work on your process. If you're in a sales role or a sales leadership role, you'll want to have thought through your sales process. And why is this important? Well, the benefits are multiple benefits of having a process that you've defined well. One of them is helps just drive desired behaviors. You know, it helps people move through the sales process efficiently and effectively, or any other process. This isn't limited to sales, by the way. It could be some sort of post-sale or other kind of operational process. But speaking of that, this having a well thought out process helps you scale. As you add team members, you have some training capability with showing people how to perform the processes that you want. This will also help shorten the sales cycle as you start getting a handle on how the sales process, especially the automation, works. It can shorten the amount of time it takes to get new business if that's what you're doing, which means you're going to drive more revenue. And there's an added aspect of all of this, which is just you end up with better forecasting, so you know where everything's at. You know, how many active quotes do I have or proposals out there? How many people have I shown our products or services to, but we haven't gotten into the next stage yet, and so on. So all of this is very important background. You can do this on a whiteboard. You can map it out on a legal pad. I use Microsoft Visio, but it's not so important as to what the tool is. But the reason this is important in our conversation today is a big part of the sales automation for opportunities is triggered on the sales stages. So you need to have identified these stages and, you know, kind of be clear on what they all represent. For example, stage one, you get a lead. Stage two, you qualify the lead. Maybe stage three, you present your product or service to them. Stage four, you get a quote or a proposal, get approval, close the deal, so on. And all of this is basically kind of boiling up from all these steps you might have in your sales process to identify key stages. They're like the milestones. You'll know when you hit it. Are you doing a presentation? Are you doing a proposal? So the whole idea then is to identify these stages as, you know, key decision points. And then we start working on defining the actions that occur at each of these different stages. And we also then agree on how many touches that should occur at each stage. And then we're going to go create the templates and automate all this. And that consists of some instructions that are built right into Profit here. I'm going to show you. I won't spend a lot of time going through the text here, but there's just a nice little user interface that allows people to create templates and then manage those templates and launch them. It's pretty easy. You just, you know, click new, select, you know, email template, task, or appointment, and you start creating your templates, which I'll show you here. And then what you do is you assign each of these templates the actions that you want them to take. Now, remember, as I pointed out, there are two types of automation. Sales Assistant is what you will set up for contacts or companies because they don't have stages per se. Then you can set like a series. Some people call it a drip series or a drip campaign. And that basically just provides a timed set of follow-ups or touches in your process. Workflow, as I mentioned, works with the opportunity function, and you can set the delay days, 7, 14, 21, or what have you. But you also set the stage, and every stage can have a unique set of automation to it. It's pretty cool. One other feature here is you can choose to make actions shared, which is a little checkbox. What that does is it publishes the templates out to your team so everyone can share the same, essentially like content or design or messaging and that sort of thing. You trigger the automation, it launches a whole series of automated follow-up, and away you go. So here, we're going to just jump right in and show you how it all works. Profit is a CRM that's embedded in Outlook, and the way you access it is simply by clicking into the folder that you want. If I want to go into my contact manager, you'll see I have mine on the top of my folder list up there. This will bring up my CRM contacts. There are 2 other folders which we'll be looking at, company manager and opportunity manager. But I'm going to kind of do the cooking show approach. I'm going to show you like the finished souffle, and then I'll show you how we made it. Okay. So I'm in my one of my lists of contacts here. I have many different lists that I've created, and that's another training session to get on, on how to do that. But you're in a list, and you maybe want to look up a contact or look at a contact without even opening the contact. If you'll notice, there's a row of tabs down below, one of which is the sales automation tab. So when I'm selected a contact and I click the sales automation tab right there, all of my automation templates that I've created are available here. If I want to select a whole series, I can do it right here. I can select the start date. And this is a very simple automation in that it will just create a series of automated follow-ups based upon the dates that are in these templates here. So in this case, you can see how I can go out it'll produce a series of these that go out, a couple of months or however long. And I'll be showing you how we create all these in a moment. But what that does is when I click apply, it's going to trigger the automation at all of these different stages. So for example, if I wanted an introductory email to be the first one, and I click apply, it'll actually generate that email in a ready to go. You can launch any of these emails right from here. You can see all of the ones that I have in there. I'll show you a little bit more on that later. You can do the same thing for companies. So this is how it would look if you're in your company manager, just another folder here. The difference here is that this can create a series of automation for everyone at that company. So if you notice down below here, I have Brad Pitt, Angelina, Bill, all these people that are part of that company. So I could select all if I wanted to create my automation for the whole group, in other words, everyone at that company, or I could just select certain automations by selecting the to-do box over here. So for example, let's say that I just want to have Angelina on my drip here. So notice here, I'm only checking the boxes for her. If I wanted to add Brad, maybe I only want to have Brad get every other one of these. So I can be very selective, and you can see that visually the check boxes are blank or checked, and then there's a date or it's blank if you're not activating the automation for that particular person for that particular template. So that's very useful because you can set up an automated series for everyone at a company, and they're each going to get unique follow-ups. So that's the idea behind that. And again, you can set the start date. That might be useful if you know that there's going to be, the company is going to be closed for a week over the holidays or something like that. So that's how it all looks from a contact and company standpoint. And then from an opportunity standpoint, basically you can launch a series of workflow. I'll just pick one of my opportunities that I have here. This one is in my Hollywood projects. And what we'll do first is I'll clear out the workflow so that for the sake of this demonstration, I'll start from as though there were no automated workflow set. So how you launch workflow in an opportunity is you simply go to the workflow and you'll see there's nothing in it, but every stage can have a unique series of automation associated with it. So check this out. This is really cool. With one action, I click the label that's also the automation button, and it asks me, do I want to process workflow actions? I click OK. And then a series of things start occurring automatically. One, there's an email that's been created. It's you can see how it picked up the first name because that's how the template was designed. I'll show you that in a minute. It also inserted the company's name in the subject line. And throughout that, down here, see how it picked up that first name again? Well, I could still edit this if I want. It's just an email right now, but it's generated, ready to go. And I click send. That email gets sent to that person. In this case, I have another follow-up scheduled. And now you can see my whole series. So my first email has been done. You can see the done column, yes or no. My follow-up reminder has been done, been set. And then I have 4 additional follow-ups. We call them touches a lot in the sales world. I have 4 additional touches, total of 6 touches with 1 action. Pretty cool. Now what's going to happen is the reminders just pop up in Outlook on that scheduled day. The emails get created automatically. And when they're ready to send, like here's one from a week from now, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 4 weeks, they get created and they pop up and you choose what you want to do with them. Because the idea here is I might have just talked to that person 5 minutes ago. Why would I want to send them an email that says, hey, I'm just checking in or whatever? So you can kind of force open the Profit Automation queue if you want to see what's in there, but it will automatically pop up when anything new has been arrived at its scheduled date. Or if you open Outlook and there's something that was pending while Outlook was closed, it'll pop right up. You'll see all your automations in here. Here's a number of them, and I could pick any one of these and say I want to send this person my follow-up, or I can, if you notice these buttons down here, I can process all with a click. I can process one, I could snooze, or I could delete. One other little item is I could open the record associated with that simply by clicking up in the button there on the upper right. I could take a look at what's been going on with that lead before I send it. But if I wanted to send one in here, and you'll see that I have one here for John Goodman. All right, so let's just, one of my options too is to display it before sending. I usually do that because I just want to see it, maybe edit it before I actually send it out to that person. So here we go. Notice how it picked up the full name. Maybe I don't want to set up a meeting right now, so I can just edit this email. Maybe I want to put some other material in it, like I can use quick parts or just type something else in there. That's a little Outlook trick there. I can share that in another training session if you wish. But now I'm going to just click, maybe I'm going to add something to the subject line. Following up again, I click send. Now that email went to that person. Pretty awesome. So that's what it all looks like once it's all set up. So now let's go back in and talk about how we got all that set up. There's a couple places you can get to this tool where I'm going, but the easiest thing is look for the little tools, the wrench symbol there that I'm highlighting. And you just click on it and it brings up your local Profit Administrator tool. And on tab number 2 there is my Sales Automation tab. You'll see there's 3 windows in it. The top one is just where my templates reside. These are templates that have been created. And by the way, if you're just starting with Profit, there will be templates that are kind of examples to get you started. And I'll just show you one that's been created, and then I'll show you how to create them. But here's a great example. Everybody will always have some sort of first outreach. A lot of times it's an email. If I click edit here, it will bring up the template that I've already created, and this helps us get an idea on how it's structured. So right off the bat, you can see that it has here in the subject line, Profit CRM info you requested for, and in parentheses, company name has to be spelled exactly like that to pick that field up with no space and capital letters. And if you want just the first name, it's just parentheses, capital FIRST. Put your punctuation in as you wish, comma, colon, or whatever. And then the rest of it is just content that you're creating here. Now, once I'm happy with this template, I just go up, there's in the ribbon up in this email template, just like in Outlook, there's ribbon, and there's one that's called Profit Template ribbon. I just click Save Template, and it will save that template as I've just created it. So I'll show you a little bit more as to how we might create one from scratch now, and then I'll talk about setting up the rest of the series here. So let's just say I haven't built my templates, or I want to create a new template. Very simple. I just go over here to New, and I select what type of template that it is, what type of action. Remember, it's going to be, you have your choice of combination of emails, tasks, appointments. And again, appointments are just going to go on your calendar. Emails get generated automatically, as I just showed, and tasks create a task reminder in Outlook. So let's say I wanted to create an email template for the sake of this. First of all, I just select the term email, and then let's just say I want to create a name for that template. I like to number my templates, as you'll see, 0, 1, 0, 2, 0, 3, and so forth, because it'll just keep them kind of organized in my setup here. But I'm just going to call this 001, and we'll call it new email. Okay, that's what we're going to call it. And you'll see that pop up here in my list here in a moment. So I just click OK. Now what pops up is the email template itself with the instructions. That's handy. So you can pick different fields that you can populate. Mainly it's the salutation, hello, first name, dear title, last name, that sort of thing. We give you the ability to put the company name here. Maybe you want to put, hey, would you mind if I called you at this number, and it would populate that, things of that nature. But really the instructions are here, but I'm just going to delete them because that's what you'll do. And now I'm just going to create the template. So very simple to do. I could just start with hello, just like I would compose any email in this case. Remember what it was, parentheses, FIRST with the first capitalized, okay? I use a comma in my salutations. Some people use a colon, whatever. Now I'm going to put in my content. Now I could just start typing it in. Thank you for your interest in our product or whatever. I'm going to show you just a little ancillary trick here. This is called Quick Parts. It's part of Outlook. This is a little kind of a sidebar where you can have a library of templates built in that can be triggered by keywords. So for example, I have a keyword called info, and just by typing it in, it'll pop up that template. So here's my intro that I just put in here. It's just content for the email. Again, you can edit it still. It's just an Outlook. It's just an Outlook email format. You can put things in, photos or whatever, and you give it a subject line, whatever you want. By the way, you can also attach files. Like if I wanted to attach a file here, like this one, you can see that it can be attached as a copy or a link. That's just an Outlook function. Now I've created my template. Now most people have their template automatically generate when they create an email. If you don't, you will leave your signature or put your signature in here. If you do have your email automatically appended, you would usually just delete it from the template. Okay, so great. Now we've created ourselves a template. What do? We go up to the top where it says Profit Template, and we say Save. Now that new template has been created. Not that hard, right? That's step one. And now step two would be to tell the system what you want it to do, how you want it to behave, and that's the Assign button right up here. So you select the email or template, task, or appointment that you want to tell Profit how you want it to behave, and you click that Assign button. Now here's where I make that distinction between whether we're doing just a sales assistant action, which applies to contacts or companies, or whether it's a workflow action, which applies to opportunity. For right now, I'm just going to select Assign a workflow action. There's a little checkbox that you could use if your company wanted to, that says make action shared, that publishes the templates out to everyone. Useful if you want to have, content that's consistent amongst your team or messaging or that sort of thing, logos. But I'm going to skip that for now. You can see it's picked up the title of the action, new email, and the action type is email. And now down here is the number of days delay that I want it to wait or not before it launches. And you'll see why that's important in a moment when I go back and show you this again. But because this is my first email and I've just launched the series, I'm going to put 0 days delay. But then we could have ones like you see in my list here. Some of these have, 7, 14, 21 days delay. And so you create a series. But right now I'm just going to launch it and I'm going to put it in stage. Let's put it in stage 1 here. That would make sense for an introductory email. Okay, so we've told it what to do. We've selected workflow. We know it's an email. I'm going to do 0 days delay, and I'm going to have it in stage 1 down here of my opportunities. I click Save. Now what happens is that gets launched into the setup that's already been done. And by the way, here's why I like to number my templates, because I can sort them right here. In the case of these workflow, it's nice to see them in order of the sales process. But there's that new one, and you can see it says 0 days delay. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to remove this one because I just want to show you the new one that I created. We're going to close. And now why don't we go in, and who should we do today? How about Tony Hawk? Let's do a little workflow launch for Tony Hawk now, and I'll show you what that email did. So right now, Tony doesn't have any workflow set. If you see where I'm at in these tabs along the bottom, I'm over here in workflow. But let's put him in stage 1, and let's just launch that. How do we do it again? Click the button. That's the label, sales stage. Now it's asking me, do I want to process the workflow? I'm going to click OK. And now bingo. Look at this. We've got that email with the attachment, everything ready to go. But again, I could still edit this. I could change it. I could put other content in it or what have you. All right, now I can send it to the customer or prospect. There's another reminder that's been set. So the first 2 launched already. The reminder's been set for a 2-day follow-up. The email's been done, but I still have 1, 2, 3, 4 more follow-ups in the series. On those future days, they will pop up into this little email queue, and you can decide what you want to do with them. Here's one from 2 weeks ago. I'll just process it. Click, click, and away we go. So that's how the workflow automation works and launches. Triggering of the automation is a little different in the opportunities as you saw. I'm going to go back now to make that distinction back in the contacts. Same idea, but you'll also notice that in the contact manager here, and I've selected a contact when I go to sales automation, it brings up only those templates that I have set as sales assistant templates. So again, select all or select some of them, sort however you want to view it, select a start date if you want it to be different than today, and then you click apply and it will launch that series, including any emails, tasks, or appointments. So that is all the magic of the sales automation and Profit. So I want to thank you all for joining today's little training session, and I look forward to connecting with you again sometime in the near future.
Boost productivity and get the most out of Outlook with Profit CRM. Have a look at the following topics which are covered in the Profit CRM Learning Series. Visit www.avidian.com.